Hi guys, I am ExactChaos and welcome to a brand new series of Subway Builder. Now, I did receive this key for the Steam version of the game for free. So thank you to the developers and the publishers for, well, the developer, a single person developer, and the publishers for doing that. I thought we had a bit of fun with this in Washington last time around, and I think now that it's been developed a little bit further and going onto Steam, it'll get a little bit more traction. And I just wanted, I was keen. I enjoyed it last time. Had a few bugs, which kind of stifled our development and ongoing series of it. But now I want to see how it's going. So let's do this. Try this again. Okay, so having a look, we can't really play anywhere, but I did think, given we did Washington last time, maybe we do a little bit more European this time around. So I was thinking, let's do London. London is obviously, we all know London has a proper system of underground. I have never been to London, so it'll be basically a fresh, clean slate. See if I can do it as good. Similar to what I had with Washington. Never been to Washington either. So let's do that. So we're jumping into London straight away, and we'll pause the game. Come on, pause the game. We'll go to analysis and we'll have a quick look at where the workers are. Okay, so we can see if we zoom out quite a bit. So I guess we've got a pretty good little stretch here along the river, all the way down to the airport here. I'm assuming this must be Heathrow. Or is it? Yeah, it must be. Anyway, so we've got potentially a long-term stretch going out that way. I think what is pretty good here is that there's quite a bit of employment opportunities all the way along the river, and a few other blobs in other places. Then if we look at the residents, we can see we can practically do a line in any which way direction we wanted to. So let's pick a starting location, and I'm thinking the big blob over here. I'm kind of wondering if that open spot there is not in reality maybe a train station. I've no idea where it is, and I haven't gone Googling to find it either. But so I do wonder about that. So if we switch this off, the two spots I can think of that would be pretty good is maybe in here and maybe in there, and maybe in there, so that we can ultimately do multiple lines crossing each other and things like that. Okay, so now what we do is we pop straight into here, and now we can see we've got heavy rail, light rail, and commuter rail. And the key differences between them are, let's start with light metro. Light metro is 100 kilometers an hour. Train capacity or car capacity 200. So we've got 2 to 4 car variants, so about up to 800 per train, right? That's kind of the idea here. There's other stats and stuff which may come into play. We can obviously see what the base track cost is and the base station cost is, like 55 million or 35,000 per watt. I don't know per watt. Anyway, if we go this way, we can see 240 per car. But we have at least 5 cars and up to 15 cars, and it goes to 3,600. So that's pretty good. It doesn't go very quickly though. So it's up to 90 kilometers an hour. It's not that much difference in terms of cost, actually. So in reality, maybe this is a better route for us, is to do the heavy metro. It doesn't look like it's that much different to build it. And then commuter rail, on the other hand, is what? Again, similar costs, even faster. Okay. Even faster. But then, we've got longer trains. Anyway, 106 per. Anyway, so there's a number of different things. So I'm thinking maybe let's start off with heavy metro, right? So we'll start off with heavy metro. Didn't want to close that. And what we'll do, I've continuously had issues with the with trying to do multiple things in the same platform. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to do just a very basic station, like parallel track station like this. So if we say this area here, right? Oh, we're actually, okay, if we go up a level, yeah, now it's not actually working. So I guess for the sake of London, we're going to go at least standard tunnel, right? So it's underneath all of this stuff, right? And for this reason, we may choose to go a little bit deeper still. So we're definitely not going to have any issues, right? So maybe if we went to a 20, right, and we do say something like this, at least that means we don't need to do too much. Okay, so that's our starter station. It's Appold Street, and let's go back to analysis and just have a look. So we've got, where are our residents at? I guess we've got a pretty strong line all the way into this area here, right? So if we wanted to do a strong initial line, or alternatively, we just come up here really alongside this road. And I think maybe that is the easier option. We can go up a little bit, right? Okay, so let's just keep it all. It is expensive though. But anyway, let's just keep it in the same kind of location. So let's do that. Heavy rail 20 minus 20. So I guess if we do, I mean, we're just putting it straight underneath here, right? 15 car max. Something like that. That looks like a rail. So we could ultimately run something on the top here. And maybe we do up to about there, right? So let's do that kind of as the starting line. And we can obviously extend that one further, right? Okay, so now let us do the lines themselves. Same kind of depth. Are we going to do auto crossovers? Yes, let's do auto crossovers. And let's see. Okay, we want to start it obviously at the start, right? So let's do that. Gets us a pretty reasonable one. Now, obviously, it feels a little cheaty because we're going so deep, but we're paying for it, of course. And I guess we will be crossing over the top, so we might have different varietals here, where some have to come over the top, and I think we will do kind of proper interchange stations. So let's review. Yeah, we're getting our crossovers in there. So let's review and build. Okay, that's fine. We're gonna start that construction process. Okay, so that's cost us about $1 billion. Now let's do a new route. Where is this line potentially going to? Let's forget about that. Let's just call it the A line. Okay, what is this? Hang on. Route name is optional. Something's not working. Cancel. Let's try that again. I mean, the keyboard is working. Let's just try that. A line. Why is this? Doesn't want to do anything. Okay, hang on. Maybe I have to do it in the next one. Huh? The name. Maybe I'll have to get the name a little bit later. So heavy metro line. We'll do that. I wanted to. This is awkward. Doesn't want to work. Okay, fine. Let's create the route. The A line. Route bullet. What is this? Oh, create the route. Route bullet. I have no idea what that's supposed to mean. Something's funny here. Anyway, so if we're, so this would be left-hand drive, right? Not according to the track. So what we're going to do is you're going to come in and you're going to end here. And we're going to allow for each station. And so you would see it'll go bypass through to the other side. And we'll do the same thing here. And we'll do the same thing here. And we'll do the same thing. Oh, hang on. So this one has to come in over on this side. So we'll drop it from there and we'll go into here and that'll be where it basically ends. So it's going to go in there and like so. Now, okay, so that's it, really. Can I still not rename it? I can still not rename it. Okay, fine. Let's just confirm the changes. Okay, so that's the route. Okay, we'll close that out. Oh, hang on. What I need to do with this route is add trains to it. Okay, so what we'll do, how many, so we'll just start off with the smallest one. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll do one train in low demand. Actually, we'll do one train in very low demand, one train in low demand, and then two trains in medium demand, and two trains in high demand. Yeah, let's start off with that, right? Let's start off with that. It seems like that'll work. Okay, so let's do that, and let's start the game up. Let's speed it along. So we should start seeing a train. Yeah, there's a train there. So we haven't seen anybody make their way to the station yet. Train is doing. Ah, here we go. People are starting to arrive. Oh, it's still very early though. Okay, fine. Starting to arrive, starting to move there. Okay, now, can I? Okay, analysis won't change anything yet. So if we go back to routes, ridership on the route there, can we still not rename it? Still can't rename it. Anyway, it doesn't really matter what its name is. But yeah, it's a little bit, I don't know, that seems to be like a bug. Now, if I go into the menu, I just want to quickly check our settings here. If I wanted to, oh, if I wanted to switch off some of the, because I've switched on some of these things, and I'm pretty sure it's messed around with my my view. Okay, anyway, we'll leave it as is. We'll come back to that later. Now, the plan is that we get this thing to run so that we can see if everybody is kind of doing it, if it's doing its thing, right? I want to see the statistics. I want to see the stats. So we've got 300. Ah, here we go. Here we go. Now we can see how many people per station. What is the origin and destination? All origin and destination, and the transfers. Who started or ended their journey? Yeah. To work, station group, and then to home. They're going to go up there. Okay, so it's starting to get in. We're starting to see a little bit of... Oof, still not looking good. Still not looking good if we look at the values. I do like having a bit of a look at the statistics. But then we're just kind of having a look at the station. Station groups versus stations. Transfers, nothing, because there's nothing to transfer. Journey, we can kind of check a journey map, I think. The route we've got here is the red line. I guess we'll just go with the red line. And then the demand is a little bit overwhelming to look at, to be honest. But from a route perspective, let's just have a look at the stations. So you can see the busier stations, of course, is all of this. Now, what we can easily do is just expand the line, right? So this station here, yeah, I think these two stations here aren't doing too great. There's not a lot of demand there. The alternative, of course, is we can extend the demand or the line into here and run it along the river a little bit more. I think that might be quite useful, actually. And if we are going to extend, we should be extending it this way. So let us go for construction, get ourselves another kind of a station here. Going to keep it at the kind of the same level. Actually, the question would be, do we perhaps do slightly more stations in this area? And I think the answer to that is yes, we do, to try and pick up a little bit more of the demand. So if we wanted to do that, yeah, that gives us a pretty good spot, and it's still going pretty easy over here due to the fact that that we're so deep underground. Now, it is costly to do that, but I guess in the end, in this area, we definitely want to be doing that. So we're extending the line. Okay, so let us then go back here and we will edit the route. Okay, so now everything pauses while we edit the route. And the idea here, of course, is that we will be Adding that stop. So it's going to come straight through there, I think. And then we're going to add this stop and add that stop. And we're going to conclude it over here, basically. Fleet Place. Oh, that seems like a inner city London inner city piece. Okay, so we will confirm those changes and we will close this one and then we'll keep running it. So now we've got some additional stations that could draw quite a fair bit of demand here. That is the plan. Oh, that's definitely a train station over there. I can see that much. So presumably we can run a different line, add another stop over here and run a different line down here. There's definitely, that seems to be like a rail bridge or something. Yeah, we're starting to see more people do their thing here. Yeah, the key here though is that we will need to just make sure that we're balancing things out a little bit. Now, my question, what I was wondering about, let's quickly go back to the analysis. If we go to the demand, right? There's still a lot of residents down there. There's not a lot of jobs, but there is a little bit of jobs. So we could potentially run one into here and then start running down to here. And if we look at the residents, for instance, I guess that is something that's useful. So we could then start to generate a little bit of a transfer in this location. So I guess that's something that might be pretty useful to do. Now let's go back to construction yet again. We go with this, and I guess we'll do one more. We need to be a little bit conscious of our costs here, our budget. So let's do that. The plan was to try and get these things to integrate a little bit better. And then the idea here is we will, I guess we don't really need to bother about being right underneath it. But what we will do is let's try and stick to underneath the roads a little bit. And now I'm wondering about the demand. Let's have another quick look at the demand. So if we're going down here to the oval, I guess that's okay. Let's keep going on that route. That looks pretty samey, to be honest. So down here is probably a good idea. If we look at workers, we wanted to come down here to potentially pick up on workers on this side. So we're going to come down this route. That was the plan, right? So that's going to be a little bit of a curve. Well, we'll just do, give me that. We'll just do it. Well, actually, there's room here. There's definitely a line in there. And then I guess we can do another one, something like that. So that should be pretty good. Now let's do that. Tie that back up again. That's a reasonable speed. And we'll run this one. And even that one is going to be a reasonable speed. And then we're picking up a few more stations over here. And the plan is really that we tie it in on that side. Let's clear out this thing. Oh, we're actually losing something here. Okay, let's try and avoid that. So no, forget about the cross. Let's get rid of this thing. Let's try this again. There's something that's presumably a little bit challenging to get into. So these buildings here. So let's try and do that. Don't know what those buildings are, but for some reason they're pretty deep, right? So let's just try and skirt around them. Something like that, right? That's another billion. Okay, so now this will mean that we're pretty much kind of capped until we run it a little bit more. So let's review the build. We'll build this blueprint, right? We should have reasonable transfer in this location. So let's add a new route. Oh, now this one, can this one be named? It cannot. If we go back in here, let's just change the color to a blue line, for instance. Right, and we will save those changes, and then we'll add some stations to the route. So this one will be, oh, hang on, edit the route. Thank you. So this one will be coming in here and stopping there. Okay, and then it will be coming down this way, coming down that way, coming down here, and it will end on this side. So the idea with the end here, and this is the comments I had last time, is that it comes, as it comes into the station, it uses the crossover so that it doesn't slow down on the way out, basically. Okay, and then that has a transfer up at Artillery Lane, is it? Yeah. So anyway, let's, for some reason, I cannot change it. So anyway, confirm the changes, and we'll go and look at trains. So now we'll have to do 1122, right? Seems to be reasonable. Oh, and we can actually afford it straight away. Is that okay? Seems to be fine. Okay. Let us start running this to see that people are immediately starting to use the second train. Now, the idea here is we want to be seeing a profit, right? It's kind of the end of the day here. We've been spending a lot of money, so we want to see these green bars really shoot up to the top. Okay, so we'll run it. Yeah, we're running at full speed. We want to keep an eye on this number here. We want it to stay green. It's dropping down a little bit, but it's coming back up. Oh, over the 1 million mark there. Ooh, that's starting to look really good. Okay, yeah, that's good numbers. That's good numbers. We need to continue to see those millions there. That should get us up to good numbers. Yeah. Liking the millions. I want to see more of them. So the first day was a little bit challenging, but now it's starting to look a little bit better. If we look at the analysis for the routes, the red line is still pretty good, much better than the blue line. Station-wise, Appold Street here is a pretty good one, and then red and blue slowly starting to grow up a little bit more. So I guess now we've got a proper transfer station in here, so people can transfer to extend that line. So now we've got a pretty good coverage of some of the key areas here. I guess that's the plan. So we can still run in different directions. So we can still run potentially. I'm kind of keen to run a commuter rail out this way. This line here seems like it would be a pretty cool commuter rail line, and it's got a bit of a right of way that we can run through, right? So if we did a commuter rail here as well, though I guess the intent would be that we would need to actually use one of these other platforms. But I guess we can still always run it up this stretch over here, right? Can still do something like that. And then run the commuter rail up here all the way over there, because this is going to go further away. So we'll have the stations a little bit more sparsely placed. Ultimately is the kind of the plan that we're going to do with that. But money-wise, it's a bit slow. Oh, obviously throughout the night, wow, we lose quite a bit on the expenses side of things. This is maybe where the heavy rail is the bigger challenge, right? Is to try and deal with that. And then obviously we can still run even more lines here to try and cover a little bit more. Now, if we go back, look at our demands ever so quickly. So the idea here is, let's have a quick look at what is happening from a transit perspective, right? Not walking, driving. So slowly we're starting to see a little bit of a gap, an improvement to the driving side of things here. We want to get that going. And then from a transit perspective, we want to start seeing a little bit. Ooh, what is this? Hang on. Okay. So now we can actually click individual things, right? How do I... Ooh. Work. So how do I clear this one out? Can I go? Beautiful. So actually, if we go back to workers and I click on this one, what is this one? Residents? I don't quite know how to read this yet. Okay, so this is a bit of a split, but I want to see what the actual demand is. Okay, here we go. It's got 67,000 worker spots here and only a handful of population. Okay, but what this means with regards to trains and things. Commuters 200. Is this a sample? It seems like it's a bit of sample. Ooh, look at this. I've never seen this before. So coming from here, jumping on the train and then heading over. What? That can't be right. There's no train station there, unless you're going there and there. I mean, that would make sense. Walk there, train there, walk there. Seems reasonable. Yeah, I think there's a lot of data that you can use. Oh, here we go. 8 minutes to A, and then 17 minutes. Okay. Oh, yeah, we can actually see driving time home to work is 8 minutes. Driving time work to home is 7 minutes. Okay. But what about walking time is 32 minutes? Okay. Do we know what the transit time is? Oh, here it is, 30 minutes. Not good. Not good. So again, so what we can see is that driving is by far the most effective route from there to there, which I do wonder whether it actually takes into account traffic congestion, because if it's this busy in this area, it's unlikely that driving will be that effective. But anyway, it's good to see that all of those kind of things are being considered. Now, what I'm wondering about is, are we making any money? I guess the concern is that we are not really making money in the middle of the night. So we're pretty much a commuter service. That seems to be the case. So what is this built up of? So our profit, yeah, that's our profits here. So here we can see we're not making, we need all of these to be above, right? So these red lines can't be higher. So our expenses breakdown is train operations, train purchases, construction bond payments, track maintenance, station maintenance, grade crossing maintenance. So that's another one that we'll need to be dealing with as we get there. Middle of the day. Okay, you know what I'm doing? Oops, that's not the plan. I am going to go to the toolbox, to this line, going to trains. I'm going to drop this one to just the 1. And that's it. And then if we go back to this one, I'm just going to go trains, and I'm going to drop this one just to the 1. Because we're not close to getting that demand up, right? I haven't seen any warnings pop up yet. What is this? Oh, this is some themes that we can work on. Oh, we can see layers. Oh. Track speed. Track elevation. Why is this track elevation different? Oh, maybe it's not. Yeah. -20. Yeah. So all of this is at -20. It's the line that's shown on there. Okay, load profiles. What does that mean? Route load profiles. Oh, yeah. That goes thicker, so you can see actually where people are using it. Oh, no one is using this? Oh, no, we did go all the way there. Oh, is it someone going onto the red line that's starting off over here? So it seems like a light load. Okay. That's fine. So it's good to start seeing all of these kind of things. Track base, track arrows, signal points. Ooh. Yeah, okay. Fine. I mean, we'll definitely play a little bit around with this a little bit more. What is this? Annotation and active tools. So we can. Ooh. So we can. I guess that's so we can plan out where we're going to go, right? That's interesting. And I guess that's just the menu. Okay, cool. What am I looking at here? Let's go back to, what did we do? Something like that, right? Okay, fine. Fine. Guys, well, I think I'm going to put a cut in here. That's the starting point. I might do a couple of episodes. This is a new series. We're starting to make money. This is a new series. If you want to see me continue, please do like this and yeah, leave some comments down below. Are you playing this? Is this the kind of thing that you would like us to see do a little bit more of? I think I'll do at least a couple of episodes just to get a bit of a feel for where the game is at the moment. This is the kind of thing I do like playing. So it's a bit of puzzly kind of a planning it out kind of thing. So I do enjoy it. So yeah, please do leave your comments if you are also enjoying this and would like to see us continue this. We'll play it pretty quickly, and maybe I'll let some time pass so we get a bit more money. But anyway, we want to start adding additional routes and planning the spaghetti out a little bit more. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that now. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.